Welcome. Let's see if my internet is working a little better now. Hmm. It's good to see everybody. It is all set up properly. And this is a video I was going to do the other day, and I did not get to it. So I thought I might do it today. We'll wait for some people to show up before I go on and get into this. Talk about relationships and the love languages and control dramas and baggage versus inexperience. I think these are all very important. There we go. And I'll give this a few minutes so people that come from the future that aren't watching this live, these first few minutes probably are not important. It'll be just me sitting here babbling, saying hello to whoever walks in the room. And if I don't get, and if not enough people show up, I'm not going to do this talk right now. So just so anybody, this might just turn into something else, and I'll change the title. But it is Cyber Monday. I don't know if people are going to be just shopping all day, or if they have an opportunity to get on here and listen to me ramble on about whatever I'm going to speak on. I already tried to start this video a couple times, and my internet is being funky. It's probably because everybody is playing on the internet right now trying to buy things, and it's causing a little bit of a lag. But hopefully, I reset most of my parameters. Set roots. Cool. Yeah. Even if I don't get into it fully, we'll touch on it. Are you familiar with the 4 control dramas and the 5 love languages? And there's a few other ways of looking at it, but there's usually the standard 4 things that goes into the elementals, the 4 elements that are actually it's the same as saying INTF, INTJ, those Briggs, Myers-Briggs. There's 4 of them. It's 4 seasons. It's 4 major elements. 4 control dramas. And that's basically just the splitting of the masculine and female from both of the sides of the relationship. So you have your parents, and then whoever you're with has their parents. So those are the 4 major elements that go into. They both could be the same. They both could be very watery or very aloof. There's connections to that, and introverts, and aloofness, and watery, and I don't know if that would be exactly right, but I think that's probably about right. Yeah, and the books you'd be looking for, if you've never heard of them, is the one book is called The 5 Love Languages. But I don't think you really, like both of these books, I don't think if you like story time, go read The Celestine Prophecy. That will give you the 4 control dramas, and it's a good book. It's a very fun read. But as far as the 5 love languages go, you can just look those up or listen here, and I'll give you the 5 of them. And there's really not I don't believe the book is a story. It's more of a just here. Let me give you a psychological professor's breakdown of these types of love languages. So we'll see. Doesn't look like anybody. I guess everybody's cyber shopping today, huh? Everybody's out on the internet buying electronics. Oh, there's a couple more random faces that I do not know who you are yet. This may be see, the reason I want to do this more live with more people is because it's certainly going to probably almost certainly have enough people with questions, or oh yeah, well now it makes sense. Okay, what if my parental figures were like this? What if my a lot of your control dramas will come out of just your friend group, society as a whole. Some of these, depends on where you live, but the major parts are whoever's had the most influence on your life. Like even the school is kind of developing more control dramas for people than even parents are now. Back before, when you were around your parents more, they're influencing you more. There's more authority given to the school systems these days. you're around them more. 8 hours a day. If you're growing up around school, 8 hours a day. How often how many hours are you really seeing the people that are supposed to be caring for you, right? They go from work at 5, 6 maybe. See them till 9, but not even, because you're probably going to go play on the computer. Or even back when we grew up, even then it was still like, okay, then you gotta go outside and play with your friends. You got dinner was however y'all ate. So there's not as much of a big influence coming from the parental figures as much as it used to be. It's very much diminished these days. It's more state-run consciousness. What's up? What's up, 5D? Cheers from Portland. From Oregon. Nice, Portland, Oregon. Cool. And as I'll repeat, I'll dip into this just a little bit here, because I said I want to do this for a larger audience, because I know there's gonna be questions. Yeah, right on. Cool roots. Yeah. Well, depending. I'll jump all over the place a little bit on this. I mean, I'll cover probably most of it anyways, but I'm not going to do it in the same kind of instill what the next idea is. I might not be able to do this today. That's okay. I'll see what happens. Maybe later after 5, because now that I know it's going to keep cutting out. It's useless to talk about something that requires, like, there's some things that obviously I can skip over parts and you can miss something, but missing something this would probably be not as helpful. But here, I'll try it again. 4 control dramas. You have aloof people, you have interrogators, you have let me see what they are. And so you have aloof, interrogators, intimidators, and poor me's. Poor me's are like, everything's like, but those each one of those comes out of having the opposing figure, usually as one of your major, I would call it archetypical energies that influence you. If you have an interrogator parent, usually an interrogator parent will attract, the other will be an aloof parent. So like, usually you have the interrogating mother always questioning everything, and the father is just like, oh, like Homer Simpson, like that kind of thing, right? Or it could be the other way around. Like, usually in the years ago, patriarchy would have been the intimidator, interrogator would have been the father figure, and the mother would have been aloof, and that's all the ditzy kind of like, watch the sitcoms from 60s and 70s, and there's always a secretary, and she's very aloof, and oftentimes poor me. Oh, poor me, like, nothing works right. It's more masculine and feminine. Those are the two qualities, because one is more passive, and that passive is connected to the more of a feminine characteristic, and the dominator interrogator is more of a masculine characteristic, electric. The other one is magnetic. And when you say masculine or feminine, you're not really talking about the sexes as in, but it has for the most part come out that way in the world. Although now, because of the craziness with all the gender identification and all of the just all of the outpourings of what society is, and everybody trying to be androgynous and all of this, even though you're not supposed to be androgynous out on the physical, it's internal. But people have been trying to switch that. Well, this is the way I am inside, so now I got to flip it around on the outside. When all they've done is just reverse things. They haven't actually, you'd fix the inside, and that would balance out your masculine and feminine characteristics internally, and then what your body is will be fine. You don't need to go to have somebody chop your ding dong off, or go sew on some titties, or go shave down your Adam's apple, or add those don't work in a natural society. Those would never crop up. It would be so few and far between, because it's a mental, psychological thing that people are supposed to become androgynes, not out here. Although there are some that are very much looked upon, say in India. They always look to India, where there's the certain types of untouchables, and but it's for a different reason. And some are born with both male and female, and those are like the gods. Yes, if they came out with them both parts. But even that again is interesting. It's a physical thing. Uh, Cadian, Arcadian. There we go. How to clean yourself of a hex? There's a bunch of ways. I mean, if you know specifically that person did, you can deal directly with it. You can deal angularly with it, meaning like if you know who it is, like just fucking stop the bullshit, right? Or it could be for and if you just think there's like malevolent energies that or I mean look at society. You have a bunch of hexes put on you every day, so start there. Start with that idea. If you walk outside, and obviously you see the McDonald's sign, and you see the turn the TV on. What do you think all those are? Those are a type of hexing. Those are a type of iconographs that are influencing your like right there. Oh, you're hungry. You're not salivate like a dog. And there's other energies like all of the networks that throw energy, the colors, the sounds, your phone, like all of the energies around you, and it still affects you. So if somebody was playing with magic, excuse me, there's ways of doing it using magic to create vortexes around you. But the easiest thing to do is like clean up your. I don't know. Is your house a mess? Clean up your house. Is your internal mental space a mess? Do you might be hanging on to things. You might be imagining it. You might be projecting the idea that you have X on you. And really, in all, what it is a memory that gets I mean, this does actually have to do with this talk about relationships and baggage versus inexperience. So inexperience tends towards curious about the future. Baggage tends towards having a lot of things and being depressed and hanging on to the past. So older people usually tend to have those. The younger people have an experience, and both of those, in one sense, the experience, but then you carry it around. That's no good. And then the other is you don't have the experience, so there's nothing to carry around. But then there's that anxiety towards the future. So it works in both directions. And that same thing happens in your mind and in your body, just from past relationships and traumas, whatever, and also eating habits. If you feel negative around you, then you probably need to ground yourself out. You probably need to cleanse. I would start by doing. I would do some enemas. I'd clean out my intestines. That's the most important thing, because that is your biggest brain. Your colon is why you think people get gut feelings. Most people's gut is fucked up, so their gut feeling is off. And by cleaning that out, your body will function on a higher level, and it will start to clean your brain out. So these things that were connected before won't be connected anymore. And those are like the entanglements that happen in the astral realm and on other realms, and are also happening here. And by doing something physical, you can actually release something that is mental, or on a higher level of magic. You would just clean the body. It sounds so disparate, right? Like so far away from each other, but you're the containment vessel for all of that. So while people could throw energy at you, if you know how to just, some people absorb it and turn it into something else. Some people block it. Some people can stop it from happening. But primarily, you would clean yourself first, and then you can use all sorts of different tactics with using shielding items. It could be you can make yourself sigils. You can make yourself little minions, basically. You can do all sorts of things. So, but start with the cleaning the body, clean the house. Just do it once over in the house. You know what I mean? Burn some sage. Take yourself a metal bowl, put Epsom salt in it, and fill it up like 1 cup of Epsom salt and 2 cups of either a very high octane alcohol, like drinkable alcohol, like some Everclear, or 151 that will burn. Or go ahead and get yourself isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Get yourself the high octane stuff there. Put 2 cups of that in there, light it, walk around the house with it. It'll burn off lots of stagnant energies. And also open up your front and back door. Open up the window and let the air circulate through. Those are gonna do things. I would do those first, and then I would sage afterwards. So that's some things you can do. I mean, these little physical objects, little physical things. You can get yourself some organite that collects what you call negative energy. But it's all coming back to like grounding out your body. Like, when's the last time you took your shoes off? When's the last time you put your feet on the earth? Like little things like that. Breathing, that will help disassociate some of the feeling of that. If somebody put a hex on you from long ago or from like another lifetime, if you believe in that, it goes that deep, which I don't think it does. Yeah, you're cleaning yourself so that way those what you'd call parasites can't attach themselves to you, either spiritually or physically or mentally. That's where it breaks down to. So there you go. There's a couple of tools, and those, and as I was saying before, that is part of the process. Even with relationships, is building bridges and burning bridges. Some have to be burnt, some have to be built, some are worthless, some are not supposed to be there, and those are psychic attachments, and as well call them mental attachments, and they're also they could be really just a parasite in your body running a program in your mind to make you do and feel and act a certain way. You kill those things, or ask them to leave, get them out of your body by putting cleaning your colon. All of a sudden your brain works different, and all of a sudden everything's brighter, people act different around you. And those things that look like hexes or curses don't really exist, or they just vanish, they go away. And or because you become more powerful, and if someone was, that would be diminished. It would go away. They don't last forever. They can't. They would have to be so out of their fucking mind to continue to put energy into something that isn't like just to waste energy to like hex or curse someone. That's childish black magic usually used by bitches, like straight. Like, I mean, there's a connection to witches and bitches, but like not all black magic, not all witches are bad, and they're not, what I'm saying. But that's like people that are immature with magic. That's what they would use it for. And that's why I made videos a long time ago saying, if you're going to use magic for something, never do it against someone, because it's only going to come back tenfold on you, or at least parallel. So you'd only use magic to influence and improve your life or improve someone's around you. And even at that, there's always got to be a balance to things. So I infrequently do anything for using what you call any of the arts of magic. But if you really feel that you need to, go design yourself a sigil, write it out, go look at my early stuff on how to write sigils, and use that, burn it, clean your house, blah blah blah. And that should do quite a bit. And I did actually, maybe like 3 years ago, I did if it's still up, hopefully you'll find it. Just look up my name, and then psychic attacks for, who did I make it for? It was one of my early videos. If it's either locked or it's not there, I'll unlock it for you. I'll look for it. But it was specifically on this because somebody asked a couple of years ago about it. But I probably didn't say much different than I'd say right now. All right, what's going on? Who else up in here? Haha, you're gonna do a urine cleanse. I mean, urine will help. That will definitely break up shackled things in your system. You'll shit. You'll definitely shit. And it could be something that, like I said, it could be something as simple as some sort of bacteria in your system. A bacteria is going to make you think and feel different. You'll feel that. It's not always, and in fact, most of the times, it's not from that out there. It's something that's lodged in you that you do have to get rid of. What's up, Black Sun Hotep? Arcadian, of course. What's up, Divine Hazel? What's up, Jake Wynn? Yeah, it actually was. It was. Look up. What do you go by then? What was his first handle? It was something luminous. At the same time, I was using another. I was using Proto Theo Homo Luminous, and I think he was using something luminous, yeah. So look for that. So that was a while ago. Let me see. 1 second, y'all. One second, yeah. Okay, we back. No, it wasn't Leo. It was something else. I hope, yeah, you'll probably be able to find it. That's Leo does. That's not the same person. Um, so I think I covered for the spiritual thing, and I think I covered. I mean, at the beginning, I think I'll clean this up and do, like I said, my internet was not working great, so you didn't get an easy walkthrough of it, but went through the control dramas and the 5 types of love. See, so having that split with that talk there, that's why I want to do the whole thing, and then I'll put the 4 control dramas and the 5 types of love. Some people like gifts, acts of service, words, touch, and I forget what the 5th one is, but that's easy enough to look up, and that causes a lot of, you have giving of the 5 languages, and you have receiving of the 5 languages. So some people like to receive different than they like to give. And when you get in a relationship with somebody, no matter what it is, if it's just a friendship or whatever, to whatever level it is, physical or otherwise, those kind of things. See, think about it in a setting of like an office building, right? You have to work with these people, literally work with them, but you're not allowed to use all of the love languages. You have to. The only thing you can use is one, basically words, and gifting doesn't happen too often. You're not allowed to touch somebody. I mean, you can. I mean, if you're in a bright kind of environment, but in corporate environments, nah, that ain't happening. So there's no, just like, hey, there's boundaries, and how can you work with people? How can you show anybody respect, liking them, loving them, or work on a team if you can't interact with them when it's only words? And some people don't work well with words. They don't want words of encouragement. For one, whenever I hear that from some people, I'm just like, I don't want to hear that shit. Other people, I enjoy it, but and most people like physical touch. Most people, yes. Some people keep your fucking hands off me. And for me, depending on the person, sometimes I can give people wonderful words of encouragement. Sometimes I don't want to say shit to people. Because they'll respond wrong, and I don't know what their love language is, and then you go through all of that. Acts of service, and that tends to be a pretty easy one for most people. And the gift giving, I've never... See, that's a big one that I'm going to get into next show. Gift giving is different and difficult in a capitalist environment. It has to be. Because not everybody's on a... let's see, I don't want to say equal playing field, but equanimity, like equanimity, like it's not all even. So like getting something from somebody that only has $100, that spends some dollars to get something, that's different than if somebody has a lot of money, right? Or how does it come? How is that gift given? Like, what if somebody doesn't have any time but they have a lot of something else? Can they get you a gift? Versus somebody has a lot of time, should they make something for you? And so these all come out differently, especially in such a society that, we give the dumbest gifts to people. Like, it's like, get dad some socks and a tie, and get a card for, Mother's and Father's Day. Like, who the fuck cares about a card? Nobody cares. Everybody, oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. What are you gonna just set it there? They got me a card. That shows nothing. Some people buy into that. Some people, oh, they were thinking about me. It's a thought that counts. Well, if it's a thought that counts, then I think everything is groovy, and I don't need to do a damn thing. So all of that goes into relationships too. So it's the giving and receiving of the 5 types of love languages, and then the 4 control dramas. And then there is the baggage versus inexperience, which is very obvious. As you get older, you have more baggage. Most people do. Some people have less. But obviously, when you're younger, it's inexperience. So you can't really know something. You can learn something, and if you like learning, then it's different. And then there's finally the most important is everyone is a culmination of all of your experience. Like, when you meet someone new, that's a culmination. You're seeing them as your experience, all of the experiences you had, driven into that person, and what qualities they have are qualities of other people, and what negatives they have are negatives of other people. And that's the sorting out that anybody has to do that nobody thinks about doing, because they just assume that person is that person. So there's what you'd call, going from there, you can micro adjust things. You can micro adjust people's behaviors in relationships. You can micro adjust yourself, but to do major macro changes, most people can't. It's not that they can't, it's just that they've been so conditioned that that's not possible. People don't change. So it's kind of like, how do you start a new habit? Well, you can't see it right away because it will take you 40 days. Take you 30 to 40 days to develop. No, some people say it's 3 weeks. Depends on what the habit is, right? And then people don't know how to develop a new habit because they have old habits. So it's the easiest way to do that is trading things in. You trade in one thing instead of having a McDonald's burger, because that's absolute garbage. Go get a burger from somewhere else that actually has locally sourced meat and blah blah blah. And then you can trade that in, and maybe you want to trade it in for something healthier for you. And it's usually trading in habits for something healthier. So then you're not really you're not missing out or losing something. A lot of people want to stop a habit, but then they don't know what to fill up that space with. Now, in the same way, whenever you're in a relationship with somebody, it's like correcting a child's behavior, correcting like things for yourself or for somebody else to help them have a different path. That takes time, because they're used to, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's, people that they're older, they have baggage. You're not going to change their habits. They're gonna, where at least with inexperience, you can plug in certain habits that can equally be picked up that are good. So there's a bunch of things on relationships, habits, and I will do all of that as one cohesive unit. Maybe not tonight, because I get to go see Wax in concert. I'm so excited. Fucking out my mind excited. An alternative salt to salt, Jake Wynn? In what way? I don't know. We were talking about sauerkraut, maybe. I said, you don't really need salt in sauerkraut. It's just helpful to use a tiny amount, because that will keep away bad bacteria. Like, a small amount of salt is not going to fucking kill you, you know what I mean? And especially considering the amount of sauerkraut you're making. Like, a little couple sprinkles is going to, and it depends on the temperature. So, and back to that, some ferments don't involve salt whatsoever. I mean, beer fermented, you're never using a lot of it is using a wild yeast to ferment. And sauerkraut, depending on the temperature of where you live and the cleanliness and how sterile the environment, you can do that without salt too. Yes. Yeah, I hear you, man. Arcadian, I hear you. Yeah, hopefully I think the adjustment for people there is going to be the and I've said this in a couple of videos, the transition into understanding somewhat of our human history, and that would be through mud flood, plasma, apocalypse, energies, but mostly the mud flood. And when you can physically start around, because now, see, the flat earth thing, a lot of people are never going to buy into. They're never going to get it. And then the people that get it, that understand it, They're stuck on it because it's this big, huge picture. That's everything. Wow, that's why it's all. But until they go in and this is the transition for them, they got to start looking at the mud floods and start looking in their city and realizing, recognizing it's right in front of you. Like it is the whole flat surface of the realm that we live on, certainly. But there's below us, and there's above us, and there's outside of us. There's a lot going on. But to actually, and this is for new people who get into it too, the mud flood will take you right to the flat Earth thing. But the flat Earth people, they need to get in the mud flood because you can see it in your city. You can see these giant buildings. You can go everywhere you go, you'll see the cymatics in the churches. You'll see the windows below ground. You'll see I mean, that you could just start doing the research online. And as soon as that you go, oh wow, yeah, that's pretty obvious. So that I think there's enough people out there, especially like John Levi and all that, that are doing a good job at making sense out of it for people. Just look. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So that's what will get people to stop just dragging on. I mean, I get it. Like once you know something, and then you've processed it, then you're on to the next thing. And so there's people still processing it, but some people are hanging on real heavy to that. That's all they talk about. And I've already made that video, so I'm not going to do it again. But the point was, I mean, I watch this. I go back to some people's channels, and I'm like, that's all you talk about every single day that you make a video, just 100% flat Earth. Like, isn't that part of the problem? The brain is just stuck in this. Like, what do they do when they're not doing that? Are they like just sitting around still? God, I mean, I get it. There's got to be the people out there that are the bridges for that information. I get it, and I'm happy that they exist. But some of it is they gotta just dip into some other things, some other topics. That'd be very important. What's up, Jay Marley? Yeah, Black Sun. Yeah, John Levi's for me are just perfectly done because of his monotone, meditative voice, and because he doesn't get too excited and too like I've made a couple videos where I'm like, do y'all not seeing this fuck? You know how I talk. You ain't seeing this shit. Okay? And then I explain it, and I'm like, do you not? Because for me, coming from a background of building things and understanding everything that goes into it, it's so obvious that none of the math works, none of the size of the building works, none of the time frames work. It can't. Not the money, not the people, not the time, none of it. And so, having built things, that was immediate for me to see. Where other people, they're just like, they can't possibly have that many systems open in their head. Meaning, okay, so it's a building, but then I have to go, okay, but where did they get the concrete from? Okay, where did they get the glass from for the windows? So you need to have a business. You need to already have an industry for making glass running. Okay, and then what about everything that's going on inside? So where are they getting this plaster? You got to have all these other industries already in place. And how did they get the stuff there? And how did that starts to become the thing where now you're asking somebody to open up 20 windows in their head that they can't even fathom the first three things because you take them. Okay, it's just a building. They built a building, but if they've never done it and don't realize how many different layers of things that go into making even a simple house, the amount of different crews you have to come in to build a house, you know, it's a there's a lot going on there, not to mention the architecting of it, and then just the general like who's feeding these people. See, I've already done all that, so that's like people get it. Yeah, the Mandela effect. I have my opinions on that. I'm not going to get in that here. Oh, thank you. I'll do a video on it. Yeah, the bridges of you, they're there. Like there's a couple major ones that are crazy to me to even think about. There's one here in New Orleans. It's how many miles long? 26 miles long. And then one in San Francisco. There's two in San Francisco. One into Oakland. And these two are obscene. And you're like, somebody built those when? I don't know. Like to even consider, the challenges to build, like, so you got to go underground, all the way through the water, and then drill out that to put something in there. See, once you just take the simple logic and then all of that, I don't know. I don't know if who could really take that job on to build a bridge today. If you had to build the Golden Gate Bridge today, could it be done? I'm gonna say probably absolute. It's. I don't think so. Where's I mean, we even have all of the industries in place to build the pieces and to do all the things, and we even have the engineers that have maybe backwards engineered how that could be done. But do you know how, like, putting all that together, somehow getting beneath the water, doing all of that work, that's a whole. I mean, even think of how all of the phone systems work, and even the computer systems. We're not running on satellite. Everybody knows this. They had to span a wire from North America to Europe under the water. When did they do that? You can see that a couple pictures of, there's a couple boats big. Do you know how many miles that is? Like, how would you even go about doing that? Are we sure that wasn't already there from empires ago? I mean, it's just a question. I've never researched it, but that's a whole lot. So the bridges are crazy. Like, there's too many things that are just like, people just accept as, oh yeah, they did that in the 30s, they did that in the 20s. Like, have you ever seen people building things now? They're not even close. Yeah. Let us some numbers. What's going on? Yeah, I think it's the new camera. Even though I'm a little tired. I had a couple long days, but yeah, the camera's making me look a little better, I guess. I think Black Sun Hotep. I think if you were to talk to, I think a lot of it is the mouth to ear history, because so many books and all that was burnt and stole and blah blah blah. Yeah, the actual natives to any land probably have the oral history, the oral traditions. So, but how you can come across those? I mean, okay, what if you actually what if you had some elder that could write the story down? Okay, they write it down, then you try to go get it published. Who's publishing that in these? Who owns these book companies? Who owns these printing presses? Who's publishing that? The same, because there are good masons and there's ones they're trying to control. But with these ones on it, who's going to print those books? How could you? And even if you wrote it down online, who's going to find it? Like, I mean, obviously there's a stop. There's a point at someone's channel where I don't know why, but you ever see people that just like, okay, this is how many subs you get. I mean, and I've always said it. I think it's for a good reason too. I wouldn't want 1 million people on my channel. It'd be too much for me to deal with. And I don't need 100,000 people talking shit, saying dumb shit when I'm trying to teach people like high level knowledge about stuff. I don't need all that. So in that way, it's kind of, that's a blessing that my channel got at basically 6.5 thousand. That's it. There's nothing I can do about it. I've attempted it. It's only, it was growing and it got there and it just stopped. Algorithms, blah, blah, blah. But I take that as a compliment. So I just put it out there like that. I mean, no, you can't go and see the PhD professor. If you're in a 100 level class at college, if we just use that, you're gonna go to the 800 level PhD, professor. You don't need to know that shit. That's gonna confuse you. I mean, it's like that. Yeah, the ones over canyons. See, at least the ones over canyons, there's no water in the way. But I mean, aren't the ones that are over water, isn't that a canyon basically? Now you gotta deal with water too. That's insane. Yeah, but you know what though? I mean, think about it. We're whatever age we are, like, when did we start noticing it? Like, yeah, we accepted it, and why wouldn't you? You trusted your parents not to bullshit you. You thought they knew, and then as you got older, you're like, damn, I guess I really don't know anything. And then you trust these people. They know what they're talking about. And even those people, they might not even be bullshitting. That's the funny thing. These people, it's the story of the monkeys, right? The 5 monkeys that are with the banana. It's a very similar thing. where like they would go and get banana, and then somebody would like one of the monkeys would get hit, and then they would never want to get the banana, but and then all of a sudden after this, you know, beat up the monkey goes to the banana, and all of a sudden they ain't eating, and they don't know why, because generations ago somebody hit the first monkey with, you know, that's the story, and now all of a sudden people are just repeating a story, doing a similar thing that doesn't actually isn't has no bearing. So I've always said I don't know. You know, you don't have to have a lot of people in cahoots. I just think there's no one steering the ship, and it's just people telling a story that they don't even know about, and they're just attached to the story. Well, of course, there's no way there were giants, and then some people are like, we have the stories, like they're already there, like, but how do you tell a grand populace? How would you let the entire all the population know at once? Yeah, actually everything you learn in school system is bullshit. Everything the science is teaching is bullshit. How would you go about doing that? Do you know the chaos that would cause? That would be insane. That would be the obscene. If they could even accept it. Like, so you mean everything? Yeah, everything. How could they accept it? Some people could, but as a majority, there's only one way you could. You have to trickle. It'd have to be a trickle out. You trickle out some of the information, and it'd be just certain storehouses, and by that I mean like there's certain people that have certain information, and that's what you're going to get. You're not gonna have all the people go to that to get the information. You're not gonna put the gas station right there and that's the only one. You have to put that everywhere. That's basically what the light keepers, the bridge workers, the archons that are actually living in on this land, those types of things. That's what that is. There's no other way to do it. You can't just pour it all out there. Yeah, Black Sun. See what you can undig, man. I mean, if they've got the story like mouth to ear, man, that's about the only way. I mean, there might be some books around, but they can't make it into the pop culture. Nobody. I mean, the funny thing is there are some books that are, and and if you read those and you read the ones that are, they just go, oh no, these are the like think about like so much we take as scientific fact, and then we realize like no, that's not actually fact. That was just bought and paid for by some corporation that was paid $1 million to have them make a study look like, okay, well this affects this in this way. You can make anything look like anything you can adjust and fudge numbers. You can adjust science. It's not that hard. You can, you just change a few variables, but variables that nobody will ever even like see, right? So, and there are even books out about actual history, but what do they have to do? Probably write them as science fiction. Okay, go ahead, put that in science fiction. You can't put that in the nonfiction category. And even the ones that are apparently in the nonfiction category, people go, oh no, that's not actually, that's the bullshit book. It contradicts the book that's popularized. So what are you gonna do? Who's gonna win that battle? Say a lie and keep repeating it over and over, and everybody will end up believing it until something clicks, and then you go, "Oh shit, that's not what's up. That's not what's good." Yeah, there's so many. There you go. There's so many paths of information. How could you can't possibly read all the books and know all the things, and once you do get to like pretty certain in the knowledge of one aspect, then there's how many other aspects that you need to kind of coordinate. and if you get into that one aspect, as we were talking about earlier, people get in that flat earth and then they just keep going, and it's like, okay, get out, okay, good. It's like when you become pretty proficient at something, then you do something else. You can only become so proficient at something and so professional at something. Why wouldn't you want to do something else? Wouldn't you want to know and learn something else? But people get stuck in that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? I mean, it's great. It's great that they'll be there, and that's somebody that like they got the key to this thing. It's like think of a pro sports player. They're exceptionally proficient at what they do. Exceptionally. That's so we get entertained by that. Like, wow, that's incredible. That's amazing. But like, there's a point where you're good enough that like, hey, it's fun to play. You're still doing this, and everybody's enjoying it. I think you go learn something else. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying that there's that kind of proficiency, that kind of professional, like being that much, knowing so much about some like that. You know how much there really isn't you don't really need to know that much to play very many sports. There's not that much. It's not complicated. People that are um, kinesiologically intelligent, that if it was never taken away from you, if you always danced and played, kinesiology and your intelligence of your physical body is so high that there's only a few things, a few pointers, a few keys that you can learn within playing something. You know, there's only so many things you could do bouncing a basketball. There's only so many things you could do throwing a football and handing it off. That's especially simple. That is just drawn out, and this is all you got to do. There's no extra tricks there. There's only so many things that you do in soccer. You know what I'm saying? So from that level, it's like when people get into like knowing all they can about the flat earth, like move on, find something else. I mean, if you like it and it's getting you there, cool. Yeah, no, that's see the point is whenever people see me do some dumb shit like the other day, I'm eating some Funyuns and something, and I'm like, but I know what I'm doing. I know that this isn't the healthiest thing, but I also can transmute it in my body to go, okay, chemically it might cause my brain to do a little bit of this, and I can meditate and I can breathe and get some of that out of me and some of the garbage, but I enjoyed the experience, you know. So that's different than going into it go, no, this is completely healthy for me, this isn't causing anything. But there you know, in everything there is energy to be gained. Everything, even stupid shit, you learn, you know. That's just what it is. It's not about going and eating fucking Cheetos and Fritos and whatever every day or even that often. But like, you know, if you're presented with such a thing, like, I don't know, why not? Is it doesn't become habitual, you know? Yeah, how to navigate properly. There you go. That's the numbers. Yeah, see the Hollywood thing though, I think that's part of the trickle out of information. I think there's more quality people in Hollywood that are trying to divulge information to people that they can't just outwardly express it because people won't believe it, they won't buy it, and B, they're funded by people that probably don't want that information out there, that maybe don't even notice they're doing it because it's so encoded, or say, okay, fine, no one's going to notice it anyways. Go ahead, put that all the symbology in there. They're not going to see it. They don't care. We've already trained them not to care about the esoterics of the world or the symbology or we've already trained them. Okay, see if it works. Cool, have fun with that. And higher than that, if you really want to get higher than that, they could be on the same team. They could just be saying, okay, let's see who figures it out. We're gonna trick them with this and see if you can, it's a game. There you go. See who figures it out. I lean towards that. The more that I've seen, the more that I've understood, the more it seems like it's just a game for the chess game. You know, I mean, play the black. I mean, even you can watch in Hollywood. Watch the black hats and the white hats. It's everywhere. I mean, there's also multiple other caps you can wear, but that's the standard practice of the Masonic thing, or you know, even the deeper occult hidden knowledge. There's always the yin and the yang. What are you gonna say? Yin and yang don't exist? Get deeper in that. It's electromagnetic. You still, to have yin and yang, it's still one unified thing. To play chess, it's still one board. To have electromagnetics, you can't have electricity without magnets, and you can have magnets, that's causing the opposite reaction. So it's that. I think that's what it is. That's funny. No, yeah, that's a good show. They do some funny things with the moon in there too. There was some interesting things. I mean, the esoterics of it's pretty funny. It's not. I don't think it runs that deep, but it's a cartoon, so they can get away with a lot more. And they're comedians, so there you go. But again, I think that as much people out here that go, Hollywood is Holly weird, and they're doing all of these crazy things. Like, for me, I'm like, y'all don't know. You don't know those people. You don't know what they're doing. And in fact, the same media that they're part of is giving you a storyline for you to chew up, and then you believe it. You watch basketball, and all of a sudden, see this whole thing on Kyrie Irving. And the media says, "Oh, he's a bad teammate. He's blah blah blah. No, da, da, da. He's in all this shit, right? Because he's one of the ones that came out and said something about flat Earth, right? But then you see some other things going on, like, and his teammates like, no, he was never. What are you talking about? That's not. The media is just bullshit. And then Kyrie comes out and says like this ridiculous shit. He had an injury, and then he was like, oh, he didn't want to go to Boston. Blah 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 blah. And it's all like, and then people eat up the same media that they the second ago said they thought was bullshit. They thought Hollywood was bullshit, but then they eat up the other media. It's the same thing. So my suggestion is that it's all just encoded, and you just have to pull out of there the important parts. Because again, even if there is an opposing force to what's going on there, you know, there still must be a positive energetic force to what's going on. It can't all be negative, and half the shit that people say, it's again and again, it's coming from the same media conglomerate that's giving you the other look on it. So it's all bullshit, except for the symbolic and the symbology. It's about all they could do. I mean, maybe they just know something more, which is funny because I was watching one of my earlier videos today, and I was talking about learning through understanding that language is so secondary to what the brain does as imaging things. The whole world is an image and symbology. It's images and symbology that affect the way that you speak. So if they're speaking something, how you can't even communicate with your significant other sometimes. You can't communicate with your boss. You can't communicate with people around you that like, it's like, am I saying something wrong here? Because they're not hearing exactly what you're saying, because what you're saying is an image, and what they're seeing from hearing is an image, and that image doesn't necessarily always line up. How many arguments you got into, and you come to the end of the argument when you kind of talk all the way through it, and you go, yeah, we were saying the same thing. I don't know what you heard wrong. I don't know what, there was some emotion that was there that that shouldn't have been attached. And that's the common source of all problems with language, and that's why what are they saying? What do they mean by that? What's up, Cymatics? What's up, Percy? Oh, that's crazy. who, Percy, who you calling master teacher? It's so funny when they talk about the invisible college too, and what that is, and the shamans are self-initiated into the arts. They're not. There are obviously some tap them in networks, and they know that they're in that thing, and then there's others that they just are the oh, I don't know what the proper word is, but yeah, quick to believe it. They believe it in the way that seems convenient. Whatever seems convenient at the time, whatever's the hot topic at the time. If you just stopped watching the television, if you just stopped paying attention to the media, what would really be your reality? All of those things, then what Hollywood says doesn't matter anymore. And then all you deal with is individuals on a personal level, corporations on your terms, the things that are going on in your immediate environment, which is truly all that really affects you. I mean, you can use these sources of media to use it as a highlighter to something else, to larger dilemmas and ideas that you can use as allegory. But and it is a tool there, because there's obviously media that is good. There is high quality media that puts out as much truth as they can. And there's some that is just 100% horseshit. But even if here's the thing about trust. If you trust something, everybody goes, you trust that? You do trust that? I was like, I trust everything. I trust everything. How can you trust everything? No, I trust a thief to steal something. I trust somebody that's good at playing the drums to play the drums very well. I trust somebody That's what trust means. I trust in that kind of thing. I trust McDonald's to give me shitty food, but quick, maybe. I trust that I won't be able to find um, a burger at a Mexican restaurant. I trust, that's what it means. So there are certain types of media that if you trust that they're bullshit, then you watch it and you go, that's bullshit. Now that's what I know to be bullshit. Then anybody repeating that shit, then you can equally tag that with that's bullshit. Bullshit meters off the fucking rack. I hear anybody repeat anything off TV, I'm like, you're bullshit. Like, and you know it. I was like, where did you get that? Well, they said it. Stop. How would that make sense to you? Give me your logical sequence of events that causes you to even listen and believe in that. Give me the allegory. Why does that affect anybody out here? It doesn't. And most of it, I think, is just smoke and mirrors anyways. Black Sun Hotep. They use reverse symbolism to confuse us. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, the ancient death ruin of the peace sign was one of splitting or dividing, which is dying. It's not necessarily death, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. And again, for me, that always goes back into like, how would anybody believe it any other way? I think everything is upside down and backwards to quite a great degree, obviously. But some of it is like, how could you just outright say that to people? Whenever you start explaining somebody the Nazi symbol what it is, they're quick to go, no, but then they're already attached to. But the school told me 7 billion people died. Like, I guess I'm trying to show you symbology. Maybe symbology has to be inverted. If you were a god, what would you do? Yeah, it's all a game. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, still sleeping, right? Yeah, but at what point is it just like unveiling things versus like using power to manipulate and control? See, manipulation and control can be for positive benefit, and it also can be used as very harming to people. And it's just a matter of that's having precision sword, knowing the difference of how to do that. Like whenever I've explained things to people, like, okay, I'm going to tell you something psychologically or manipulate. I'm going to do something that will manipulate something behavior, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. So you can, if you don't like it, it's not what doesn't work for you. Why just, because I know the feeling of somebody psychologically manipulating and the after effects of that. That's fucking horrible. That's trauma. But if you tell somebody you're doing it, then you give them the choice. Here's this free reign. You either take this choice or continue doing what you're doing. But if you just do that, like, I mean, I could. It'd be very easy to do. I could change a few things about what I'm doing. I mean, look at all these channels that are very big, and they just be saying something, and they'll just edit something a little slightly, and they'll use a little posture, and they'll change their voice. Like, I'm telling you that I'm doing that, and so you get the option of like going, oh, I'm telling you as I'm doing it. I'm showing you the trick as I'm doing it. But it's even not a trick. That's the thing. It's just yeah, the language. Well, English isn't necessarily backwards. I mean, it is, but English is an amalgamation of all the languages. English is pretty much the highest form of language. It is the culmination of all the other languages. But see, there was first the original language, and then that spread out into all of the other languages. Then all the languages came back to English, which is, in the worst ways, English is very confusing. But it's very confusing because of the amount of times that the dictionaries have changed. We could change a few things about the English language. There shouldn't be too many words that are spelled different that sound the same. That doesn't make much sense. That doesn't help anyone. There shouldn't be too many words that could be, the synonyms and antonyms and all of that, and having multiple layered meanings. Like, okay, we have enough letters and we have enough words. There's a lot of them. We could just say, okay, this means this, and make it a little clearer for people instead of causing the confusion. And that happened. If you get some old dictionaries prior to 1932, Lipsy Convention. Before that, they changed dictionaries. I used to have one. Gave it away to somebody, but it's like I would just go. I'd be like, okay, I find a word in this language or in this dictionary, a new one, then I go find an old one that has a different meaning, fully different. In fact, opposite. I mean, not everything. They couldn't just flip everything over, but it's quite a bit. Yeah, see the letters and numbers. I've never like there's a lot of Christians out there that claim there's all this mockery occurring, and I don't think it's as much as most people. There are some that do it, certainly, but I think it's also more symbolic than it is mockery. Just that's just the way it seems at this point. Certainly, some do. You know, the duper's delight and all of that, and some of them that have high knowledge, but the symbology didn't. The symbology is not trickery. It still is what it is, which is he's holding a if he's holding a staff with Jesus in the top. Well, has to do with imagination and Kundalini and you know pine cones and all of this. It's not really changing the symbolism. Although they're using they have a lot of ill-gotten gains, obviously, out of manipulating how many what people are listening to and what they're hearing. It's obviously it's screwed up, but I don't think it's as mocking as it maybe was at the beginning. I think now people are under their I think they're deluded to their own spell. Do you know people that just bullshit all the time and they believe their own bullshit? That's what's occurring. I'm sure you've had those friends who tell stories, and the next time they tell a story that becomes more bigger and larger, and they still really believe it. They've imagined it into some more. So I think it's more of that than it is mockery. Although, yeah. There you go. How can it be secret when everybody knows who it is? Because yeah, well, how can it be secret? Because you don't know who is who. That's the secret. Well, and the word secret means secretion. To secrete something isn't a secret. It's to explain. Secret is not hidden. See, even there, see the confusion in the language. To secrete is to let something, give somebody something that's fluid. To secrete a fluid. So if a secret is what you hold on to the fluid until you secrete it. What's up, Diane Ra? What's up, Parsival? 108, what's going on? There you go, Arcadian. There you go. No, there you go. That's amazing. Go listen if you haven't. There's two really good ones that I did maybe 2 years ago on that topic exactly. Um, if I can remember, I will try to put those as my title videos. Like I'll try to put one of them up front. And I got into like that exact topic because it's quite interesting. And the thing is, that's I don't think they understand that they're doing it because they went through the system. They paid the money. They have a degree. They're intelligent now. They've got their paper. They're a doctor, right? So they believe their own bullshit, but yet they don't even notice the connection to the people that have pattern recognition and all of these other training that they got, and then all of a sudden, well, that's not how. No, that's the funny thing, and they've probably mastered confusing themselves with their own words. Go figure that one out. See, and that wasn't even confusing. I just literally mastered confusing themselves. But because that's the training. They went through the training to get to the point where they think they know all of this shit about psychology. They can't know shit about psychology. Can't know shit about it unless you know how the human body works. They don't know how fasting works. They don't know and they're already using their own set of standards, which are arbitrary towards what is appropriate for how someone should be or act or feel. But so they're already using their standards, which are already pushed into them through whatever persuasion of psychology they're using, which tends to be pushed through a patriarchal, more Jungian type psychology. Where's all the female psychologists? I mean, not now. I'm saying like where's all the books that were written by the female psychologists, or the Swin wits, the ancient healers of Egypt. Where are those books? How come we don't see those? What are they? What are they? What are they not revealing? So, point of that is, so they have their own. They have their own biases. Everything has to be used as a bias against what they think. So. Oh yeah, yes, Jitterbug Perfume. What a great book, huh? One of my favorites. Yeah, Parsifal. I think so. So check it out. We about an hour and six in here. I don't want to make these too long anymore because I want people to be able to just get, like if anybody comes that I don't know, that they can kind of get in here and not feel like they got to sit around for fucking 2 hours to listen to me. And also, I told you I want to do this. Yeah, I want to do this a little deeper on the whole relationship, the five types of love, the four control dramas, and put in more cohesive because we've been jumping all over the place with it. But I'll give you guys like 5 more minutes of whatever we're talking about here, and then I got to dip because I got some laundry to do anyways, and I didn't even recognize the time because I do have some cool things to do tonight. Jake Wynn, is there a specific author to look for when finding a dictionary for 1932? No, just I did a look up my go to my WordPress, zenalchemist.wordpress. Go there and look at some of my old. Just look up that and Leipzig convention, Leipzig convention, and dictionaries, and it will tell you, there. But it's just basically any dictionary before. I don't know if it was 32, but I know it was around there. So yeah, look up the Leipzig convention. I mean, there's many. It didn't just happen one time, but during a certain year they changed the dictionary, and it's under that title of my WordPress. But yeah, guys, I do got to dip though because I got to finish this laundry. I wish I could make clothes dry faster and wash quicker, but I cannot. So have a wonderful day, and I'll try to get back on here maybe this evening, maybe tomorrow, and we will talk further. Find yourself a puppy or if you like cats, if you're into that, I don't know. Watch out for cats. They snake-like. Look crazy little creatures. Or as always, find an alpaca. That'd be even more fun. Well, I've never met one, so I don't know. They look happy. They look very furry. They look like they're soft. And have a beautiful day, and we'll chat soon, everybody. Peace out.